Dr. Suzuki, thanks for joining us here today. Can you tell us a bit about how you've been involved at UBC?
So far, well, I came to UBC in 1963 as an assistant professor in the zoology department, and it's where I established my reputation as a scientist, which I'm very proud of. And at one time at UBC, I had the largest genetics lab in Canada. So it was where really I cut my teeth. I did my most important work in science at UBC. But it was while I was here in the 60s that someone had heard I'd done some television in the University of Alberta in Edmonton, and asked if I'd talk about books and stuff in science. Anyway, gradually I got sucked into television, and in 1969 I did a show called Suzuki on Science, and then it got deeper and deeper, and I always maintained a place at UBC, but I was called a full-time professor at 1/3 pay. So it freed me. I was beginning, I got a grant for the, what the hell did they call it? The best scientist under the age of 35 in Canada, called the Stacey Fellowship. And that freed me from teaching for 3 years. And that was really great because I could devote time to research and got involved in television.
And you already have 26 honorary degrees from around the world.
This is the 27th.
This is the 27th. How does it feel to get an honorary degree from UBC?
Well,
may I say?
Finally.
Well, I know that the people, I've had a very, what should I say? It's been a difficult relationship with the university. I think the university always had a hard time with my attitude. I mean, science was everything. I didn't want to be involved in administration. I knew I'd like to teach. Didn't want any of that other stuff, and I guess I was seen as a non-player in the university. I don't know. I think the university's had a difficult time with me, and I know for many years when I was battling against the forest industry, there was a lot of pressure on the Senate to try to fire me. I had tenure, which was a great privilege of academia, and I always took tenure very, very seriously. It was a responsibility to speak out. When I had any expertise, I had a responsibility to speak out about my area.
What do you think about UBC's current sustainability initiatives, and where should they be moving towards in the future?
Well, I think that this will carry on. We've now got the greenest building in the world. My hope is that within 6 months it won't be the greenest building anymore, because the whole area of LEED standard buildings and green architecture has just exploded. And my attitude is, duh, what the hell took you so long? We've had the 20th century when we built these monuments basically to how clever we are, these great glass structures, and we've never really paid attention to genuine sustainability. So I think the SIRS building is something that we'll be able to brag about for a while, but it won't always be the leading edge. But I hope the research that goes on will carry on, and universities should be the heart of where sustainability ideas are coming from. Now, UBC is boasting about how great and green we are now, but I remember, it's got to be at least 6 or 7 years ago when I was invited to Concordia, and the students committed to paying a tax out of their fees, and I can't remember whether it was $50,000 or $150,000. They committed every year to greening Concordia. It was a student-led initiative, and I don't know whether the students here are leading that initiative. So it's good, but let's not boast, we're leading edge. I mean, there have been a lot of other initiatives. And I'm just doing a program with my daughter about the kind of progress we're making in cities. And one of the things that was very impressive to me was the edible campus. Have you heard about that? These are McGill students who now are growing vegetables on rooftops and in spaces in the yards. And it's quite considerable. And they harvest the food daily, and they have student volunteers who package the food and then deliver by bike fresh organic food to about 80 shut-in families, people who are old or who are crippled or have mental problems and they're kind of shut in, and they now deliver this to these people. And it was so moving to me to see the people kind of opening oh, Mary, come in, please, I've been waiting for like the students are establishing community of some sort. So huge opportunity, I think, on the part of students.
I think the closest that UBC has to anything like that is Sprouts does a vegetable box. They get food from the farm, and then they provide a weekly box of vegetables to the community.
Right.
And I think that's the closest. So
well, I know that there are some university students that have started a company here in Vancouver. We filmed them too, where they go to just people that have grass lawns, and they say, if you let us dig up your lawn and plant food, then at the end we'll share half the harvest. And I think they've got way more places than they can handle right now. So that's, again, a student thing. Will, I think, I don't know what Will's last name is. He's working on a PhD at UBC. But it's a very, very successful program.
I've heard that your involvement at UBC goes beyond the academic and that you have a connection to the Pit Pup.
I'm glad people remember that. Well, one of the things I always remember from graduate school was that the great place for creating a sense of fellowship, but also for ideas, was the pub. So, I was at the University of Chicago, and we'd work maybe till 10 or 11 at night. Then we'd just go over to the pub, or on weekends we'd meet at the pub. And it's not just about having wild times and getting drunk. It's where you just sit down and you start really brainstorming about ideas. And so I always felt, for me, as someone that loved to have a more direct relationship with students, it was important that I have a place to go with them. And so I wrote a thing. It was kind of a tongue-in-cheek article about why UBC should have a pub, and I suggested it be called the Pit, mainly because I was thinking of the Fraser Arms where we used to go, and I thought Arm Pit. But anyway, I was glad that idea got taken up, and I gather yesterday someone told me you're actually starting a student brewery here.
Yeah.
Which is great. That's terrific. But I'm very proud that you guys remember that I started the idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know that the AMS is building a new sub.
I heard.
They're changing all the names of the businesses except for the Pit, which they're keeping.
Ah, good.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think that's great. Yeah. Bear Pit, it's a place where you come and have fun, but also start exchanging ideas.
I think the AMS took it in a slightly different direction when they called a restaurant next door the Pendulum, kind of like the Pit and the Pendulum from Edgar Allan Poe. I think they'd be disappointed to know it was the Armpit.
Yeah. Or Bear Pit. I thought of it either, both ways.